Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Kansas Dynasty here today in the year one offseason, coming off a big victory against the number 14th ranked Kansas State. And we get a couple of recruits after the week. We get three of them, a center, Paul Robinson, and two halfbacks, and Bruce Clement and Kevin Harrison. So, improving in the recruiting process, but we are in the conference championship week, which we will not participate in as we finish the year at a very sluggish 3-9. So you'll not be seeing us in a bowl game either. But here is the Heisman. Tommy Armstrong Jr. of Nebraska wins the Heisman, as well as you see LaShawn Daniels Jr. from Iowa. He is down there in fifth with Christian McCaffrey, JT Barrett, and Greg Ward Jr. from Houston in second place. But Tommy Armstrong gets the Heisman in that difficult Big Ten conference. Had a great year, almost 3,000 passing yards and over 1,000 yards rushing. But here are the bowl games. As you see, I'll just be going through the list. Pause it if you want to see more in depth of who's playing and in which bowl, if you guys are really curious, or if your favorite team is on here. But like I said before, we will not be participating in the bowl season because we had a very down year. But this is a rebuilding franchise, and that is exactly what we'll be doing as we start out 3-9. But this offseason is going to be huge for us as we head into year two, which is really going to shape this dynasty, and we'll have to see how well we play there. But one of the big surprises in college football is Western Michigan making it all the way to that January 1st bowl against Ohio State. That was a big one. Then you see the national championship is Ole Miss at 12-1, and our Big 12 foe, the West Virginia Mountaineers. That will be a very good matchup in the national championship. But here you see the All-Americans, as I'll be going through the list. Tommy Armstrong Jr., LaShawn Daniels Jr., and Christian McCaffrey kind of cap off those top three players in this All-American list. As you see the defensive players, and we do not have any in the first team, but that's not much of a surprise. As we head into the second team, all NCAA All-Americans. As you see, we're just going through the list. You see a bunch of players from Alabama, Stanford, Notre Dame, Florida State, all the big-time schools. Not much from the smaller schools, but you do see a couple in there. But hopefully we can get our name on one of these places. And we'll see here as we're getting to the end. We actually do. Returner Greg Allen. He had that one touchdown on the kick return, and I'll take it. He gets ourselves a second-team All-American, and that is really going to help boost the franchise in a way and really maybe give us some more recruits with that great showing that he had in the return game, although he is going to graduate, and we will be losing out on his honors next year. But you see the All-NCAA freshman All-Americans. You see Ian Peterson. He was great for us, especially late down the year. Had that 3-interception game late in the year, and he was very good, and I'm excited to get him back in only his sophomore year for year two. He should be a big-time player by the time he graduates. Here you see the All-Big 12 All-Americans as I just go through the list. Not many of us, but you do see we have one linebacker and then Ian Peterson, obviously, as well as the returner Greg Allen. Now into the awards. Maxwell goes to Tommy Armstrong Jr. as well as the Walter Camp Award. The Bednarik Award goes to some Minnesota linemen. And then as you keep going through the list, you see Tommy Armstrong Jr. is really just dominating most of the awards as he was the Heisman. He will be winning quite a few of those. But we're going to keep going through the order. No one from Kansas is even in this running at all, you will end up seeing. And we did not have a very good showing on the field, and that's not going to help us for having very many awards here in the NCAA, but that's all right. As you see, our only one is the best returner, and we didn't even win that one. He gets second. But let's go on to the bowl results here as we go right through. Once again, I'm just going down the list. You guys can pause to see who won which bowl and everything. But we'll be getting down farther towards the national championship where you know the Big 12, West Virginia is in the national championship, and hopefully they can represent the Big 12 well for us. That game you guys did not actually see when we played them because of the file, but we did get absolutely dominated. So it's probably a good thing that we didn't. But you see Western Michigan knocking off Ohio State. That is a big win for Western Michigan. 14-7, not a very exciting game. So you see we're slowing down, getting towards the bottom of the list. We're getting towards that national championship. And West Virginia caps off the undefeated season, 31-24 in a great national championship. They beat Ole Miss. And now we're into the offseason. But first, we have a contract extension. This does it every time you're into the game. When you get into an offseason, they extend your contract. And that's exactly what we get. We get like another 5 or 6 years right there. 6-year extension, even though we went 3-9. But we improved from last year, and that's all that matters. Now we'll be going into some of the coach firings. I'm not going to go through them all, just some of the top conferences. Here in the ACC, you see a couple of them. not very much important to us as it's just the coaches, but there is one that kind of surprised me as we go through here, as we go through the Big Ten. We head into the Big 12, and you will see right from the start in the Big 12, we actually ended up firing our defensive coordinator, which I was not able to do. It just happened. The computer did it itself, and I guess, that could help us in the long run because this year our offense was not bad. It was our defense that really let us down. But let's get into the players leaving, and this is very heavy on the defensive side. But first, we do have this transfer at right tackle. You never want anybody to transfer out of your program. It just does not look good. You'd rather have people transferring in. But there's not much I could do to help this guy. He just wanted out. 69 overall, though. Didn't much need him, but he was a freshman and had some potential. I shouldn't have redshirted him. That's why he left, but he is on his way to Houston. Let's get back into the players leaving here. We'll sort by overall. And our big one that we lose is our kicker, but isn't as big as Tevin Shaw, the strong safety, who had a fantastic year, and he is going to be hard to replace. We will replace him with a true freshman that you will see here in a little bit, so that is a big spot to fill, and it's going to be tough with a true freshman. But we keep going down the list. You see Kayon Kinner there. He was a very nice halfback to have. Our speed back, Greg Allen, our returner, he is gone as well. You see us getting now lower to some of the guys that really didn't get much playing time. But these are players that are leaving the program, and we're going to have to fill in all of these positions with new recruits. The pro draft results, obviously, we have no one drafted, but hopefully in a couple of years, or maybe even next year, Montel Cozart graduates, maybe we can slip him in at the 7th round. But first, Alabama dominated the draft there. They had multiple picks, a couple of first round, and they really had a fantastic year like usual. Now here you see Clemson. I looked for Deshaun Watson, but he must still have another year to go, and he must not have went into the draft. So we head into Florida's pro draft results. I just keep going through a bunch of the random bigger schools. There is Dalvin Cook. He goes in the first round, probably towards the top. He was a junior. He's leaving early. Not a surprise there. As we head now to Iowa, Desmond King. He goes in the first round. Not a surprise there either. Iowa State gets no one. LSU now next. Nope, we're going back to Kansas State, who actually didn't get anybody, just like Kansas. But here you see LSU now. They had quite a few as well. Keep going down the list now. Maryland, no one. We keep going through. Miami had a few. As you see, Brett Kaya, he actually left pretty early, and that's surprising to me because he is not a very NFL-ready quarterback. But we go on to Michigan. They had a very nice draft class there, 1 through 7 rounds. They had everybody in each round. Very good year from them. Here is Nebraska. Sam Foltz, he goes in the 7th round. As you know, he actually lost his life earlier in the actual NCAA. But we move on to the Ohio State. They have a couple of people who were surprised by that. I expect them to have quite a few, but only 2 as we keep moving on here through going down to the later stages of Stanford. Only 1 at right guard, not surprising there. Texas with nobody, that is also surprising. Texas A&M with a few as we keep going down the list. Getting towards the end of the list, UCLA with a couple, and that'll be just about it. No one from Kansas, though. Going to have to improve upon that, give us some more national recognition, and hopefully some more recruits will come here, and that will actually help us if we get some more people drafted to the NFL. But we move on to Wisconsin, the last team I believe I show you. As you see, we are back to Kansas. No players. Let's head into the transfer request, which is very exciting, but we get 0 transfer requests. So now we move into recruiting. You'll see the points that I put into everybody. Didn't really know what to do with this. I already had strong safeties, but I wanted to fill some holes as we don't have a lot of depth at strong safety. We have 0 now after those players graduated, so we have to move on and see who else we can get. I put a lot into this guy that I just put on my board, 68 overall wide receiver. Hopefully he will join us, but we have to see as we advance to signing day who joins us and who leaves. And it was actually a very disappointing recruiting in the offseason. During the season, we had great recruiting. We got quite a few players, quite a few big players, but to only get 2 guys in our offseason recruiting there on signing day was not very good. As you see, we lose out on Trent Dunn. We lose out on 69 overall strong safety Julius Allen, who would have helped fill Tevin Shaw's shoes. We miss out on Bryce Pennington, but we did get quite a few halfbacks, so I wasn't too worried about that one. Kurt Jacobs went to Iowa State. They put in all their points into him. Wasn't really too down about that one. This is the guy that I put a lot into, Bernard Morris, but he has gone to Utah State. Now here's Justin Cooper. Didn't put a lot into him. He's going to Tulane. Here's Will Wright. Kind of wanted him, but wasn't as big of a need as I thought. So he is gone. And here's Trent Dunn. Like I said, we lost to him by 925 points. So here is our recruits. We got 15 of them heading into next year. Would have liked to do a little bit better, but I'll obviously take it as we got quite a few on signing day, but more throughout the regular season as we went 3-9. But the big one is Alex Manning there, a strong safety, the 72 overall. That is a big time signing, the 3-star strong safety. And now we head into the training results, really what we need to happen big for us here. We need quite a guys to go up, boosted in overall and everything. And you'll see we actually have a 90 overall guy on the team. Left tackle, Charles Baldwin, senior, 90 overall. He had a great year, as well did Montel Kozar, going to an 88 overall. DeAndre Ford to an 83 overall, and Ryan Willis, who you guys told me was a starting QB in real life, so he may actually get his chance, but I kind of want to start Montel Kozar as he's an 88 overall. That Willis will have to come in for his junior year, but you guys let me know what you want to see from there. Darren Thompson actually went up to an 82. I really like that. He's up +6 from last year. Needed to get better, and he did. No fullbacks on the roster. You see our receivers now, only 2 in the 80s. That is alarming, but I feel like all these top 4 guys played well in the regular season to really help our passing game out with Montel Kozar. That's exactly what they did. Here's Jay Sternberger, our best player. He's only a 79 overall, but he is the best target and best receiving threat. Here's our 90 overall. He had a fantastic year. We move on to left guard. The offensive line is actually going to be very solid. 90 overall, 80 overall, and then here's an 84 at center. This is the void we have to, the hole that we have to fill with Hughes there at right guard and then right tackle as well with the 75 overall. But here is where it's really going to count. The defense needs a lot of help. They're going to have to play well, and we do not have a lot of depth anywhere or a lot of good players at most of these positions, as you'll see, especially linebacker. We are very thin, and we do not have a lot to go with here. As you see, 78 at left outside linebacker, 78 at middle linebacker, and 72 at right outside linebacker. That's without the true freshmen, but none of the true freshmen on defense are really going to make a huge impact right from the start. As you see, the secondary got a lot better, but they are also going to have to be big for us, as we got passed all over the field last year in the regular season. You see our punter actually went up to an 87. That's pretty surprising. But there is the training results from throughout the season. Now we make a couple of cuts. Here we cut a defensive tackle. Didn't really need him overall. Same with this cornerback who I didn't even actually recruit. He is gone. And then a halfback who I did recruit, but we just have too many people there. We don't need 8 guys at halfback going into the season. So we get through there and we head into the redshirting of players in the preseason. As you see, we have 2 true freshman fullbacks that I didn't even sign. I wish I could have just got rid of them. I'm going to play a tight end at fullback anyway. There's just no point in me even having any fullbacks on the roster, but they make you have some. So we have a 51 overall at fullback, but that's not too alarming for me, as I'm going to have a tight end there anyhow. So we're just going through redshirting a lot of the freshmen that aren't going to get much playing time. Didn't redshirt those middle linebackers, that they didn't recruit those bottom 2, but we have a good junior there, a middle linebacker that should help us. I got all the center backs to play, or cornerbacks to play as true freshmen, just to hopefully get them some experience and to boost their training results. Here you see Montel Kozar is going to be the number 1 and Ryan Willis the number 2 this year. We'll have to see how that plays out. There's Darren Thompson at number 1. Here I'm going to switch Ben Johnson to my starting fullback to start year 2, and hopefully we won't have to use him much as we usually go from the spread. But here we have our wide receivers who are very good for us. Jay Sternberger obviously going to be starting tight end, and the offensive line who I already spoke about earlier. The right side is going to be hard, but the left side is going to be very strong for us. And then here's the defense. Defensive tackle, we have some depth with 79 overalls, 1 through 3, but it's going to be very hard for us to actually get any penetration from the outsides, as well from the linebacking core, who's going to be not very good from the start. And the cornerbacks and the safeties are going to have to do a lot for us here in year 2. But here we're rounding out the depth chart going into year 2. I probably won't be showing much of the recruiting here to start out the year, but maybe in the middle of the season I'll bring up an update video showing the recruiting that I've done in year 2. But that is basically all I have for today's video. I went through the whole entire offseason, so I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. Make sure you let me know about the quarterback situation and everything as I show you the schedule going into year 2. Bye, then Duke, Central Michigan, Texas, BYU, bye, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Kansas State, West Virginia, bye, TCU, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Baylor. That is all I have for today. Hope you guys did enjoy. As always, I'm out.